Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. At least 37 people have been killed and about 100 others injured after a packed ferry caught fire in southern Bangladesh. The blaze on the three-decked vessel started mid-river near the town of Jalakathi as it sailed from the capital Dhaka to the town of Barguna. Some of the victims drowned after jumping into the water. The number of casualties in Friday's disaster is likely to increase as many of the passengers have severe burns. As many as 500 people were reportedly on board the vessel. The fire is believed to have started in the engine room and quickly spread as the ferry travelled along the Uganda River in the early hours. The blaze reportedly continued for several hours. 2 more Hong Kong universities have taken down monuments commemorating the Tiananmen Square massacre. There is now just an empty space at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, where the Goddess of Democracy statue once stood. It was modelled after the original statue erected by Chinese students in 1989 and paraded in Tiananmen Square just before the massacre. It comes a day after Hong Kong police removed a memorial statue marking the massacre of students in Beijing in 1989. The Chinese state has increasingly been cracking down on political dissent in Hong Kong. A court in Uganda has charged 15 people, including a pregnant woman, with terrorism over their alleged role in several attacks in the country. Most of the defendants were accused of being members of Allied Democratic Forces, a militant group which is part of the Islamic State group. The authorities say the group is behind 4 recent bombings. Uganda launched a military offensive against the ADF in the neighbouring Democratic Republic of Congo. More than a dozen Western allies have condemned what they say is the deployment of Russian mercenaries to Mali. It comes 1 month after Transitional President Assimi Goïta officially received 4 Russian helicopters. The 15 European nations and Canada accuse Russia of providing material support in the deployment of mercenaries from the Wagner Group. Russia denies any government links with the private military company. The EU has recently imposed sanctions on the group, accusing it of involvement in serious human rights abuses. There's been mixed reaction in South Korea after the sudden pardoning of the country's former president, Park Geun-hye, who was jailed for corruption. Park was brought down after being found guilty of colluding with a friend to receive tens of billions of won from major conglomerates, mostly to fund her friend's family and non-profit foundations. A spokesperson for President Moon Jae-in's office said pardoning Park was intended to solve our differences in opinions and give way to a new era of unity. She added that Park's deteriorating health had also been considered. Cambodia's long-time ruling party has voted to endorse Prime Minister Hun Sen's eldest son as future Prime Minister, but did not specify a time frame for when he might succeed his father. A statement from the Cambodia People's Party said its Central Committee unanimously endorsed Hun Manet as the Prime Minister candidate in the future. Earlier this month, Hun Sen said he would support his son as his successor, but did not say when he would retire. He has been in power for 36 years. The world's first dual-mode bus and rail vehicle, which runs on both road and rail tracks, will begin operating for the public in Japan's Tokushima town of Kyo on Saturday. The dual-mode vehicle, which resembles a minibus, runs on normal rubber tyres when moving on conventional roads. As it arrives at an interchange station, steel wheels descend from the underbelly of the vehicle onto the rail track to begin transforming it into a train carriage. Developed since 2002, the DMV system has a capacity to carry 21 passengers and runs at a speed of 60 km per hour on rail tracks and 100 km an hour on public roads. And finally, a herd of elephants in Santa Claus costumes have brought gifts of face masks and hand sanitizer to primary school students in central Thailand. The elephants have been paying year-end visits to schools in the area for nearly 2 decades, but since the pandemic hit, the usual Yuletide cheer of candy and presents has shifted to hand sanitizer and face masks. Organisers said they held the event to encourage students to return to the classroom after months of taking online classes from home. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.